top of the calendar, actually, we'll handle Representative Bill Wilkinson's bill. 5074 is an act related to holidays and days of special observance for responders. It establishes an annual day of special observance day to honor first responders in Rhode Island, March 17th. There's a conflict on that. The Irish guys get together.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen in the House Judiciary Committee. I'm here asking for your full support for House Bill 5074. And this is asking for a special day of observance to honor our first responders within the state of Rhode Island. So if you think about the holidays that we have right now, where it's a holiday, it's not a paid for holiday, but it's something that the people in the state have decided that they want to honor, that they want special recognition for. I can tell you one in particular that I had worked on before even coming to the House of Representatives was for the Blue Star families. And a Blue Star family being anyone who has a member who is currently serving active duty in the military. It was something that the families felt, you know, we've been doing the sacrificing at home. Our loved ones are separated from us. They're fighting for the freedom for all of our citizens. And how about if we had a day where we recognize those Blue Star families? This is very similar to that. If you think about what our first responders put on the line every single day, as soon as they come out of the house, they're typically putting their lives in jeopardy. Many times they become a target, and we've seen that, luckily not in our own state, but in state after state. Why wouldn't we want to have a holiday that showed these men and women exactly how strongly we feel about the sacrifice that they've taken on our behalf? I understand that they do so willingly, but after serving a full career in the Navy, I can tell you even military people are doing it willingly. The draft has ended. It ended after the Vietnam era had begun. Now, there was some conversation with me with regards to why March 17th. And having been on a city council and understanding how the budgets run, the thought behind that was that many communities currently celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and the first responders typically will go in dress uniform. If there is a parade, they will parade. It's very expensive to have a parade in a municipality. I'm not saying that if we had this, that all the towns and cities would rush to have a parade, but for those who would normally want to have something festive like that, at least this is a measure where they would save some additional funding. If there is a discussion about changing the date to another date, I'm completely open to it. To me, the date isn't as important as honoring the men and women who protect us. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions of the sponsor? Yes.
I think it's great. You got my support 1,000%. I guess I feel a little trepidation with the date.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, the concept is 100% correct. There's no debate about that. I just wonder about the date. Maybe I'm the only one at this table who feels that way, and that's okay. I've been alone before.
I did have a question that came from the Senate sponsor. He started to very quietly, present it among his colleagues who also had a concern about the date. And they also were concerned because they felt that the date being a religious holiday. I'm Catholic. I don't really consider St. Patrick's a religious holiday, but I understand the sensitivity to that. What I will say, though, is on the federal calendar, the day set aside to honor first responders is actually October 28th. So if we wanted to look at another date, perhaps we would want to do it so it was in sync with the federal holiday. I throw out both of those dates.
As long as it isn't on the same day as Columbus Day, that's fine with me.
Obviously another religious holiday. So again, I'm more than happy. I'm not tied to the date. I am to the concept of honoring our men and women in uniform.
Any questions of the sponsor?
As long as they have Martin Luther King Day, so me and Corvation can get along.
There you go.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Capezza from the IDPO.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, Tony Contessa, State Director, the IBPO. Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, Paul Letter asked me to speak on his behalf also, the IAFF. He had to work this evening. So, both the IBPO and the IAFF are in total support of this bill. We'd like to thank the sponsor and co-sponsors for putting this bill in. The only thing, we would also have a concern on the date. And we feel that by having it on March 17th, it'll probably take away from the first responders. So I'd like to talk to you about, another date other than St. Patrick's Day. Any questions?
Any questions? Thanks. Richard, Richard's from the Rhode Island Association of Fire Chiefs.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, members of the committee. My name is Richard Suzy. I'm a retired fire chief from Cumberland, currently serving as the executive director of the Rhode Island Association of Fire Chiefs. For you members that haven't had a chance to meet yet, I look forward to meeting you all. Obviously, the Rhode Island Association of Fire Chiefs are 100% in support of this bill. Mr. Chairman, as a son of a Providence firefighter, and I know that we also have other, a daughter of a Cranston firefighter, a police officer, you have a lot of first responders, relatives, and direct first responders at this table. It's a pretty light lift to make this case. This is something that's almost a no-brainer. But it goes right along with some of the things that our organization, as you know, are putting together a statewide firefighters memorial. It's about time things in the state that people recognize first responders. We're trying to recognize firefighters with a statewide memorial rather than just a memorial here or a memorial there at the fire station. So we are 100% in support of it. I can't imagine trying to make more of a case than that. If anybody certainly has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
You're going to make your pitch on selling the bricks for the memorial?
Should I? These two are, yeah. Yeah, no, that's, I would answer the question for hours. I don't want to start making a pitch. If anybody has any questions about that,
just from a practical standpoint, I should have gotten think of this earlier, but how do you see it in terms of, so we have Veterans Day, Memorial Day. Do you see it, I know I was a member of the Harrisville Fire District Operating Committee, and our chiefs speak very highly of you. And I'm just wondering, because as a member of the fire district, the local volunteer departments every year have a memorial event in which past members who have passed, whose names are read off, symbol Memorial Day, versus the Veterans Day in which you're talking about those that are still serving or are currently, or served in the past. I'm just wondering, conceptually, from your standpoint and from those in the service, or still working for those in the service, how do you see this? Is it more of a Memorial Day or more of a Veterans Day or a combination of both?
I would see it as more like a Veterans Day as opposed to Memorial Day. However, if municipalities wanted to use that day to honor those members in uniform that are deceased, I would never say to them that's inappropriate. I mean, we know what Memorial Day is, it is what it is. And still, people get confused with it, and we'll wish you a happy Memorial Day.
right, yeah, and I would agree with that. 100%. That makes sense to me.
How would you feel if the date was more in line with Victory Day? I know Victory Day, because it has been controversial in the
Second
state,
Monday.
because of VJ, we don't call it VJ Day anymore.
So that's the second Monday of August?
Yeah, I mean,
It wouldn't be a specific day, it would be Monday.
it would be, right.
I mean, yeah,
The Victory Day, is it?
I don't know, I don't know how you want to start taking away from that.
I'd like to make a suggestion on the date. Maybe coincide with September 11th,
Yeah.
being a day where many police officers many firefighters, many first responders lost their lives in a truly tragic event, which is more in line with the police and the fire. And
If I could,
Representative, you don't think that 9/11 would be more of a solemn holiday? That to me brings it more like a Memorial Day as opposed
Yeah,
to
more like-
something
yeah.
that would be more celebratory, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
And we do have a lot of communities that will do programs commemorating 9/11.
Right, in
And
Oakland
include
Beach.
police.
Yeah, places like that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could make, it sounds like the date is going to be the issue.
Yeah.
And it might be something that maybe a few of us could get together and speak. I mean, you've got, the hours late, you've got other bills to hear. And I think, the people that are testifying are obviously in support. Sounds like maybe the committee might be in support as well, but coming up with a date might be something you could discuss. Because it seems like it's going to get changed no matter what, at least because that date is actually in the bill, so.
Yes, Tom.
So my only addition, which, so I come from an in-law family of firefighters, and I wouldn't want to diminish what they're about.
How do you get along
Very well.
Just curious.
Very well, they're loud.
None of these kids have fire trucks.
So Police Week in May, again, we would kind of put something in that period, but I think it might take away from, we have May 15th, there's Police Week, right, law enforcement officers, Memorial Day. I mean, again, it wouldn't give them their special day, right, it would take away. Do you agree as a firefighter?
It sounds like lining it up with something that's already first responders seems to make the most sense out of everything that I've heard so far, because no matter what, you're going to be taking something away from someone else. It's not the right, does it make it more of a memorial or a solemn occasion? It might be if the federal government is already, here I am going against what I just said we should do, but if the federal government has decided that October, what was it, 28th, was First Responders Day, then maybe that makes sense lining that up with the same exact purpose. And having it for right now.
I just wanted to mention that in South Kingstown, it's like the second or third Sunday of September, we have a major firefighters parade. And we do the memorial over at the Firefighters Memorial in Peacedale, and then we march throughout the whole town. And they come from all over, like go for fire trucks from everywhere. And I don't know what the significance of that date is, but it's generally a nice day.
Isn't that the Smoky Bear Parade? No, really, I think that's...
I don't know, it's the annual firefighters, South Kingstown Firefighters Parade. I mean, we've done it every year since
I guess
I've been down there.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I do know, just like we said, we do it between Burrillville, Gloucester, and all the volunteer companies up there. There is a day that is laid out already that is recognized on a yearly basis. I just remember this year was hot as hell, but I don't know exactly what day that is.
Yeah.
Well,
There is already a...
Going back to the Firefighters Memorial, statewide Firefighters Memorial, I recognize that there are firefighter memorials around the state, different firehouses in different cities and towns. And our goal with this new Firefighters Memorial is to have a statewide Firefighters Memorial. And I think we can probably all recognize by the things that they're all saying, is that we do recognize our first responders. I don't think that your bill is trying to say we don't recognize our first responders. I think we do. I think we all try to in our own way, and this would be something that would bring it together in a statewide fashion, and that's something that this committee can address and this General Assembly can address.
Okay, thank you. Randall Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm also one of those who have concerns about the date, and I guess I should give some examples from history, especially since the date of St. Patrick's Day, just from Irish history. Back in the 1970s in Northern Ireland, there was a lot of conflict there between roughly speaking, the Protestants in Ireland who were more loyal to the United Kingdom, and the Catholics in Ireland who had more concerns. And the police were perceived as very much taking sides on the Protestant side. In fact, they were called the Royal Ulster Constabulary. They were seen as identified with the British, the very much pro-British side of things. And the government kept sending the message that the police are great, but it also kept sending the message that the police were identified with the more pro-British, with the more Protestant side of things. It got to be a source of conflict, and when they ended up making the Good Friday peace deal in Northern Ireland, part of the deal ended up being a division of the police force. They had to change it so it was no longer the Royal Ulster Constabulary, because the way it was being celebrated as being on the more pro-British side was ending up being more divisive. Now, we don't have that problem here in the United States, in Rhode Island, but there have been issues at times between the police and people of color. Some people of color believe that they are not being treated well in some cases by police. And not sure it's always that way, but there's definitely a widespread perception that's causing problems. I don't think it's appropriate.
What has this got to do with race and what we're trying to celebrate among police and fire?
I'm about to
paying the ultimate price.
I'm about to
I don't get it. And the fact that what's going on with police and the black community is being talked about now, but not regarding this bill. I just want you to bring that up.
Thank you, Representative. If I may answer, Mr. Chair.
Well, if I may point something out to you, Randall. If you wish to testify about any other aspect of the bill other than the date, I have no problem with you continuing. But it appears as though even the sponsor has agreed that the date's the wrong date, so we're beating a dead horse, for lack of a better description.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. Sorry, I just don't think it's a good idea to have
I agree.
But in any case, I did look up the holidays we already have, and Representative Jackson may be glad to know that we already do have September 11th set aside as a date to honor police and firefighters.
Typical dates that they use.
Right, and we already do have Police Week in the middle of May set aside to honor police and firefighters, to honor police. So that is there already. And so there's definitely an effort to honor police. I just want to say that because I do want to make sure that there's better relations between the policing community or different parts of the community. I think the instinct to honor police is good, and police do get honored, but I just want to suggest there is one group of police officers who...
No, that's not germane to the bill.
I'm sorry.
I've already made a ruling. That's not germane to the bill.
Can I just make a suggestion about the bill itself? Thank you.
Well, race relations and the relationship between the public and first responders is not germane to this bill. This is a bill to honor those folks.
All right. Then I will reluctantly not talk about that, but I just wanted to say that I do want to ask for police officers who I think should be honored more, and I would like if they could be recognized, if we could have some day to recognize one special group of police officers who I think are not honored enough. May I speak about that, Mr. Chair?
No, that wouldn't be germane to this bill either.
But I thought part of what we were discussing was whether this would be a Veterans Day or Memorial Day, and what way of the honoring police. May I speak?
This bill only concentrates on these folks that are named in it, which are first responders.
We're talking about police officers that got no color. There is a line of color in cops, but that got nothing to do with this man. So we're just talking about cops who pay the ultimate price and firefighters.
Hang on there. That will conclude testimony on House Bill 5074.